Welcome, gamers, to this week's episode of Last Call Gaming. We are at episode 49. My name is Craig Perales, and the man with the X-Gene himself, Mandrew Montemayor.
I'm actually really more interested in finding out what's going on than what's going on right now.
Outside of the episode than this episode.
Not really, but...
So, guys, we are getting back into drinking some beers, and I believe we've had this one on the show before. This is the Kona Kanaha Blonde Ale. Andrew actually picked this one out today, so if you are looking to drink along with us, pause it right now, grab something, sip along as you see we be sipping. But
I was just kind of craving
it. Yeah, we were looking at it. I mean, we were looking at a couple of different beers in the old aisle today, and this one is definitely a refreshing, tasty beverage.
Yeah, we almost bought some other one, but then it said it had like balls of like malt hops in it and stuff like that. I was like, oh
yeah, the cover looked cool, but the description of it was just like, no, we shan't be having any of that.
Yeah.
So guys, normally we get into revs and what we're playing, and if we do have time to get into that, we definitely will. But today's one of actually probably our bigger news stories. We got 4 different things to cover, and starting that off is going to be the news that CyberPunk got pushed back again. Now, CyberPunk is the game coming out by CD Projekt Red. This is the franchise that's the company that made the Witcher series, so they've got some good credibility with them. This game is now moved from September 17th was when it was supposed to come out, now moving to November 19th, and this is the second push I believe it's already had, because it originally was supposed to be coming out April 16th early this year, so technically it already should have been out. So we got a 5-month push, now we're getting a 2-month push. Now, Andrew, before I get into what I got to say, walk me through what you got to say. More of the same, or your thoughts?
Honestly, I don't mind it. I'm actually kind of happy about it, because that was my big thing too. Once they had pushed it so close to the end of the year, I was like, man, it's going to come out like a month or two before the Xbox. I'm going to play it on my old system. Not really the best at what it could be. That this might be either the day that the console launches, or it could be, maybe a week or something like that afterwards, hopefully, or a week before. Either way, this is going to ensure that I'm playing the game the best version that it can be. So I'm actually more excited for it, so I don't mind personally.
Yeah, one of the things was, and I didn't know this until I was actually digging more into it, CyberPunk got more pre-orders than Witcher 3, which at first when I was reading it, I'm like, that sounds kind of crazy, but that's based on the merits of how good Witcher 3 was for why people would want to pre-order CyberPunk. So they had a message come out, guys, and it's like a 3-paragraph thing, and essentially what it's saying is they don't really want to be throwing around the term, ready when it's done, right? So you've got the co-founder Marcin Iwinski and the head of studio Adam Badawaski writing this thing, and they're essentially saying, we know that we have to move this, but we're not just pushing it back to push it back. We know we need to give you guys the best product, and we know with this sacrifice of it getting pushed back, we're losing your guys' trust. They go on to say, and this part I actually wanted to read, says, at the time we are writing these words, Cyberpunk 2077 is finished both content and gameplay-wise. The quest, the cutscenes, the skills and items, all the adventures Night City has to offer. It's all there, but with such an abundance of content and complex systems interweaving with each other, we need to properly go through everything, balance game mechanics, and fix a lot of bugs. A huge world means a huge number of things to iron out, and we will spend the additional time doing exactly that. This week, journalists from around the world are starting to independently play the game. We are eager and quite stressed to hear their opinions, as well as to see your reactions when they publish their previews right after we air Night City Wire on the 25th of June. We hope this will satisfy some of your hunger for the game as we work to polish it for the November launch. So again, this isn't just random guys throwing out the sentence, let's push this game back. I mean, there's heartfelt. I mean, these guys. Yeah. It's like probably paying them to push this game back. This is their biggest game coming out, and I mean, they launched this whole thing, letting us know that guys sit tight because it is coming. So I'm normally the guy that if you watch any of our episodes, I hate when people push it back. I'm like, if it was never ready, then say it was never ready. But these guys want to deliver something special, and I'm really hoping that it's going to be that.
I would say, too, I think they get a little bit more of the past, too, just like some games did at the start of this generation, because now instead of just being 3 consoles like PC, whatever, it's, again, Xbox Series X, plus the digital version if they have one of those, if it runs any differently, the PlayStation 5 with the PlayStation 5 digital if it makes a difference somehow, with the PS4. And, of course, there's the Xbox One X, the Xbox
all these
One
different
S.
hobbies I gotta do.
All these different SKUs, they have to make sure it works across the board. So I'm I'm very okay with
it's
this.
One of the most heartfelt things I've got to hear from content creators.
Yeah.
More than just, it'll come back out. I mean, they recognize the error of saying something like that, but they're actually putting a little heart behind it. So
yeah, I felt like it was a good statement. Yeah,
and then the day afterwards, there was the big, like Andrew was saying, there was the big thing saying, day one, the PS4 version and the Xbox One version are getting the day one update to play on the Series X and the PS5. So it's going to automatically look better as soon as you start playing the old copy you buy on the next gen console. So at this point, I think we're probably just going to sit back and wait till it to come out once we have the Series X in our hands.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what I'm going to wait for no matter what. Whether it be a week or even at that point, if it's even a month, I'll just wait the month.
Yeah, so CyberPunk 2077, guys, is now being pushed back to November 19th. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know if this was a good enough statement to accept it. If it wasn't, what more can we do? A lot of games are getting pushed back for more than one reason. At least they're kind of saying, hey, everything's done. We just got to make sure that everything's done correctly.
Right, yeah. So, no, that statement did them justice.
Yeah, it really did. Because, I love the fact that they're saying everything's done. We just got to make sure it's perfect. So, that was it for CyberPunk 27. The next thing was Pokemon Presents just came out on the 17th. It was about a 10-minute long little demo with the president and CEO of the Pokemon company. And don't hate me if I say his name wrong, Tanakaza Ishihara. And he came, it kind of mimicked what PS5 did. Quick little descriptions of what's to come, and then banging out these nice full-length little trailers and these previews that we got to see. Andrew, like I'm saying, they did it nice and fast, 10 minutes. I mean, that's really all you need to do in something like this. And it showed off about 5 or 6 good-looking games.
Right. There was no lulls. They just went in between everything. And again, we'll get to it. They showed off a couple new little games, or new feature things, just how they work, whatever. I completely understood. There's no question in my mind how that thing's supposed to work or what it's supposed to be. That it was perfect. It was actually compared. I don't want to get into the EA thing just yet, but I thought it was great for being 10 minutes long.
You want to go off the first one because I know you really like the Pokemon Smile.
Yeah, so the first thing they showed off was Pokemon Smile, which it says it's more geared towards children. So you put up your camera, they're brushing their teeth, and then they can see Pokemon helping them brush their teeth, what's dirty and not. And it's just something to help kids brush their teeth. And then once they're done or the thing's clean enough, you can try and catch the Pokemon, and there's all kinds of different Pokemon. I was like, fuck, that's cool. I might even just do that.
Yeah, why not?
They even used kind of a little bit of different artwork for some of the Pokemon too.
Yeah,
that I like that design work. I thought it looked really,
more
really
the chubby
good.
cheek, kind of wider, not wider eye, but the smaller eye kind of dot,
like chibi, or what they call it. So I actually thought it was a really cool idea. That if I had a kid, I would definitely, that would be one of the first things I would download. Be like, here, check this out, because kids always have a hard time wanting to brush their teeth.
Yeah, this makes it fun more than just having a cool toothbrush. This thing actually showed because if I'm remembering right, they were showing the mouth, so it would show where to brush, right? So it actually makes you hit all your the numbers. I don't know the numbers of them, but that battles the the plaque and the cavities, and then you can go on to catch different Pokemon, and then it's just a cool concept to get early into. I mean, how much earlier do you need to get into Pokemon? But the fact that now it's at the brushing teeth level, I will probably download it because it is free.
I think it's genius.
Yeah, it is free right now on Apple and Android. So pretty much any phone that you're running, this thing is going to be on. And it is out today. So if you do want to check it out, check it out. The next game was the Pokemon Cafe Mix. This one was it was a puzzle game where you're the owner of a cafe that have Pokemon come in that are ordering espressos and different types of items. Cool, it was a little, I don't want to say Dr. Mario-ish or Yoshi's Cookie or anything like that, but it's definitely this puzzle game where they're coming in, you're mixing them up, you're trying to make their items, you're trying to give it to the Pokemon, you're trying to keep this esteem that you have a good business, because then you can actually hire Pokemon on your staff who each have a different ability that can help you out. Make more things, and then you can build your cafe. So this is another game that maybe was geared directly towards children, but I could see playing it.
I could see just that mobile market crowd. Okay, I need something to do in between whatever. I might commute to work, or I just don't feel like playing something on a big screen. I just want to sit here and fuck around on my phone. I definitely do that and make a couple coffees and be a real roast master. Is that what they call people?
I believe that would be the name that I would like anyone to have, because that is pretty cool. They were saying that it is coming out for the Switch, and it is coming out for smart devices. They didn't give a date. They just said it's coming soon, and that the base model would be free, but with
we'll have purchases, that can be got. And then, of course, the next big thing that they showed,
that I wish we saw,
arguably the best thing that they showed was a Pokemon Snap sequel. New Pokemon Snap is what they were calling it, right?
New Pokemon Snap. Yeah, they're showing that the old game came out 20 years ago. Here's the homage, the sequel, if you want to call it that everyone's been waiting for.
I mean, it looks just like Pokemon Snap, except for better. It's got, of course, new Pokemon. It looked like there was a lot more. I haven't played Pokemon Snap in the original, but I don't ever remember.
Ooh, I got mine. We can play it after this, and we can start snapping Pikachus.
I don't remember directly going out, because it looked like it was more on like a beach, going out onto the water like that. Because I know you do go down like the rapids on that game. Like,
I think
down
there's
the
like
river
4 different levels on the original one that you could do, like the jungle one, the cave one, the volcano, and because they showed there was night, they showed there was different levels, tons of different guys. I'm wondering if we're still, because I think the guy's name in the original was Todd, wasn't he the photographer?
Yeah, because then they brought him into the cartoon, I think, for a little bit too. I mean, I think it looks great. I'm pretty excited for it because I do love Pokemon Snap. I'm just curious as to what the original's sales numbers were that did it not do, because this is a game I've always seen people clamoring for forever, that why did it take them 20 years to make a sequel? Not that I think it's a game that should, like Call of Duty, pumped out every year, but 20 years to get a sequel for something like that. But then again, maybe they didn't want to do like what they did with Pokemon Stadium, where I think the sequel was kind of underwhelming compared to like the original. At least I remember that as a kid.
Yeah,
so.
which is probably why we didn't get another one of those, and they had to revamp that series into Pockton or whatever it's called.
Yeah, but I either way, super excited for this, actually.
Yeah, and we were talking earlier. Maybe they were just waiting for a system they were proud to launch these old titles. Andrew and I were talking. We're like, well, look, we're on the Switch. It's finally doing everything Nintendo, I think, has wanted to do for a while. Putting out these great games. Link's Awakening was a huge one that we never thought was going to come. Now we have Pokemon Snap. We have the new Pokemons that are actually on a console instead of a Game Boy, traditional Game Boy handheld. So I think maybe they just finally found the hardware that they wanted. And this game, I mean, we saw the trailer. Everything looks fantastic on it. So the Switch is capable of delivering beautiful graphics, especially in the way we know our Zeldas and Marios can look. So, I mean, especially with the concept of like Pokemon Go and all this stuff, I mean, how much harder could it be to just make Snap? I'm curious of how many levels it's going to be, because they didn't say that either. Because this is another game they didn't give a date for either. They just said coming soon.
What
did it say? It popped up like, I think it's like under construction or something like that.
Yeah, but they did say that there's going to be another Pokemon Presents next week, so who knows? Maybe they'll go into it a lot more, especially with how fast that Origami King came. I wouldn't imagine that this thing would be out that much longer.
Or it could take any longer than a game like that.
I think it truly just shows, though, like how good that Nintendo has their thing under control. Like, their console obviously is underpowered. It's not doing anything like with the Xbox. I mean, as far as like, strength-wise, not just strength-wise, but even their, like, online infrastructure and how you have to use, like, the weird apps to do stuff. Like, obviously none of that other stuff's on par, but they're still just killing it with amazing games.
Yeah, amazing first-party games. You know what I mean? Like, games that are just sticking to that. Because the rest of what they had to go on to was, and we're not too big into Pokemon Go anymore, so, we're going to skim over it. They had a ton of new updates that were coming out for Pokemon Go. They had the Go Fest, which I believe was the thing that was dedicated to certain cities around the world at certain times. They're saying is now all digital and all worldwide can attend. So there was a couple more things on Pokemon Go. Didn't really write too much down on that. So again, we'll leave the link in the description below. Check it out. But the Sword and Shield episode, Andrew and I did episodes back with all the DLC with the Isle of Armor and the Crown of Tundra. Those are finally out now. So if you guys have been waiting to play the next edition of Sword and Shield, those are finally out. And I know CN texted me that day. You getting it? Because he's already playing it, and he's already got all the guys going. So how'd that look for you?
I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, I have a Switch now, but I don't have Pokemon. And I think maybe I'll just wait for the next one before I jump in, because I know that a lot of people said this one was underwhelming. Like, I played it. I liked it. I thought it was cool, but I just don't know if right now is the right time for me to sink my time into that when there's so much else going on.
So much else going on. Because the other cool thing that I thought they said was there was a new max raid. And I don't know, I think this Pokemon's new. I didn't recognize him. Zeraora, if I'm not mistaken. It was that really cool looking cat. Yeah. I don't know if it was lightning looking or fire based. But they were saying that if 1 million players can beat that raid with their friends in the time frame that they set, they're going to be giving out shiny versions to people.
Of it, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. And again, so if you were playing the Sword and Shield and you like the look of Isle of Armor and Crown of Tundra, cosmetics would roll over to Pokemon Go. So I like that they're kind of synergizing these things together. So if you play one, you get something for the other one, which is always pretty cool.
And they did say they're trying to bring they are going to bring Mega Evolutions to Pokemon Go as well.
Yeah.
That was another announcement that they had. So all in all, I thought it was a great presentation. Definitely better than the next thing we had to talk about.
Well, and again, this thing was quick, 10 minutes, and he said, hey, there's more to talk about, but coming on the 24th, next week, we're going to be doing a whole new one, so stay tuned to that. And again, if you can't wrap it up in a decent amount of time, make another one. How hard can it be to make another one? Because Andrew was right. The next one that I was actually excited to watch was the EA Play Live. Now, this thing ran at a hefty 45 minutes. I've got to say, like we're already mimicking, it was the opposite of what Sony did with their PS5 reveal. It's the opposite of what Nintendo did. It took 45 minutes, and I think there's probably about 15 minutes worth of gameplay and trailers that you can actually watch in this thing.
I wrote 50 minutes, and that's how wrong I was. Maybe that 45 was so bad that I felt like the presentation ran on longer.
Yeah, which is weird because what it did was it had these too long of segues of going into the next gameplay. It was too long of these interviews with people that like didn't do anything necessarily to enhance what I was going to learn about the game, and didn't tell me anything more or less that what the trailer actually showed me. And it sucks because you've got a very energizing guy like Greg Miller. He's an exciting guy, right? Andrew's met him. I ran into him at the Game Awards. Andrew actually got to bump into him, shake his hand.
Yeah, he's a really cool guy.
The guy's all smiles and all time, and he's so energetic that when you watch everybody else in this, when you're watching the EA Play Live, they're so monotone. They're so non-ecstatic about their game.
We're so grateful to have this community.
We can't wait to show you our next game. It's like, where's the enthusiasm out? I mean, where's the love for the game? I mean, the closest one I thought was those two. I think they're Nordic guys. When they were kind of bouncing.
Oh yeah, like Ovlam something.
Yeah. So I don't know. Before we get into a couple of the games, I wrote some of them down. I thought it was very underwhelming and a waste of my time, to be honest.
Yeah, same here. I personally think, too, again, there was just too much talking about stuff that wasn't games, which is what this thing was supposed to be about. And it's not even talking about the game. Like, at one point, they're, like, interviewing the guy and asking him, like, oh, well, what made you want to get into Star Wars or whatever? And he's like, well, I used to, like, create stuff in my mom's, like, attic or basement. And I used to paint shit around. I don't care. This is, like, something that should have been after the show, where if I am interested in you or whatever, let me go see that post-show interview. That's what that should have been, not during like your big thing where you're supposed to be showing off like all this big stuff, like especially coming off of what PS5 just did with their thing after thing after thing after thing. I think even Pokemon Presents went before this, and it was that 10 minutes flew right by.
Yeah, and I loved everything we saw.
Me and Craig stopped this multiple times. The 45, 50 minutes honestly felt like 2 hours.
We had to stop and have an Always Sunny conversation because I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? Like, and no disrespect to anyone that works for them, anyone that was a part of it. I mean, you guys did the job you had to do. We're not disrespecting that or anyone that likes EA. It's just when we're living in a time where digital presentations are what's filling us up with the E3s we're missing, it needs to be worth our hour of investment because we could be doing many number of different things. And that, I felt, was a waste of time. There was nothing in that event that couldn't have been done in 15 minutes. And then, like Andrew's saying, make a post thing because, I mean, okay, so let's get into what they showed, because they did have a cool concept that when you're watching it, because I don't want to bag on it too much. We both just generally disliked it, so I'm curious what you guys thought. They did have a cool thing to where during the presentation you could see these gold letters that would pop up, and it was a Steam code that could eventually win you a prize that gave you a bunch of discounts or free games on Steam.
Yeah, it was something like that, yeah.
The other thing they did was they announced a shitload of old games that are going to be coming to Steam. So it's like, okay, well, now we got more computer games.
Yeah, I felt like they really went on about that.
It was like the first 10, 15 minutes of the presentation.
They're like, Titanfall is coming to like Steam, and this
Dead Space is coming. That Sims is coming to. It's like,
and whether it was like whether it's free or not free, it's like, who gives a shit? Like, how old is that game?
Yeah, but so the big thing I thought that they showed off that was finally got the ball rolling was that Apex had the new season coming out. Right, Apex is one of those games that blew up out of nowhere. I think it's over 70 million. Players running strong, so that was kind of cool. You got to see that if you're a big fan of Apex, which I know a lot of you guys are, there's a new season coming out, so that was kind of cool. That's what I was like, okay, cool. We've got new information coming out, not just backpedaling
for their season 5 event,
right? Yeah. The other thing that they had was the game It Takes Two by Hazelight, and they were the guys that made No Way Out. That was a cool little co-op game with those 2 dolls.
Yeah, it's like this little girl. She makes like 2 dolls. I think her parents are like getting divorced or something, if I'm not mistaken. So she makes these 2 dolls, but these 2 dolls come to life, and it actually looked pretty cool. Like you're playing through like pretty much the dolls' perspectives in these big rooms,
Right.
like trying to navigate around, of course, with some stuff blown out of reality, whatever. That I actually thought that looked like a cool game.
And again, his interview was probably the coolest one because it goes into how the company kind of got to where it was. But again, I don't need to know that. Like, start getting me into the game and then maybe give me the backstory.
Well,
but
I think the issue more with it is when it's 10 minutes of you explaining your company and
3
whatever,
minutes of the gameplay?
and 30 seconds of gameplay,
Yeah.
then I'm like, okay, well, that what the fuck was the point of
yeah,
that?
because I did like what he was saying, though. This game's going to be like this whole emotional connection with this up and down roller coaster that he's saying no one's ever had before. And if I'm not mistaken, they also do Brothers. I think that was the first game. No Way Out's the second game, and this will be their third game. So correct me if I'm wrong, because I didn't check, but I believe it is Brothers, which is an awesome game. That comes out in 2021. The other game that was pretty cool was the Lost in Random game, where they had the darkness, this world called Random. It was dark. Everything's ruled by this one dice. This girl finds this thing called Dicey, and it now is able to throw probability in this world that it's never seen before. Interesting concept, very Tim Burton looking.
I think this was the best looking game there, the most interesting game that they showed off, and it was the game that didn't get enough time or gameplay like what it should have. It did show her, she had like a mace or something like that. I don't know what she's fighting with, but it seems like she generates this like temporal like weapons. But yeah, it is, the art style just screams Tim Burton. I'm a huge Tim Burton fan, so I thought it looked absolutely
And this was the
great.
game I was talking about with the 2 Nordic guys, I believe, they were talking about. They were the guys that did the random. I forget their names, and I hope they're Nordic because I know there was something.
I probably couldn't pronounce them even if it did. But again, the game looked great. It actually showed off some of the gameplay, like you traversing lots of different enemies, different things, and again, it kind of showed off what the dice kind of does in a way, but I still kind of didn't get it. But I think it was enough to sell me on that game for sure. It's definitely something that I wish they had shown more of, even if I think it deserved like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I wish
of just gameplay.
I wish it would have been half the prelude interview and then double the game.
Right.
So moving into the next one that I thought was actually one of the cooler ones too was the Rocket Arena. Rocket Arena was this big multiplayer game that they overused the word rocket in every sense of the word.
Oh my god, that was the worst part. I didn't mean to cut you off, but
let's
I know you weren't going to bring it up. They're like, what's great about this game? You got an island, you got great characters, and you've got rocket.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh my god.
I was like, oh boy. So if you are into those type of games, that's another one coming. It is cross-play. They've got 10 heroes with this, I believe it was 100 levels of like development you can do per. The next week that it launches, they actually had, I believe, a new hero and new maps and all this stuff. So new content the moment it's out. The only thing I got to say is we're getting a lot of these games that kind of mirror these Fortnite skins. These like cartoony, poppy, characters that are just kind of
super colorful,
really cartoony.
Like battle multiplayer style games. Yeah.
How many more of these are we going to get? But I will say that one did look kind of cool because it was kind of this game where once you died, it kind of just sends you back in. So it looked like they were just focusing on the action versus kind of longest staying alive.
This game did it right, though. It did show me what the game is about, showed me the characters, how do you play it, the game modes. It showed me absolutely everything there was to know about the game. And I thought it looked pretty cool. I think I'll give it a try. I can't see myself like dipping into this thing and being like, oh man, this is amazing, but I could be wrong. This could be a sleeper hit somehow.
I hope I am.
So I know it's only 3v3.
So, and here's the other one that so the next one goes, and here's what everyone was waiting for, was the Star Wars Squadron game. This game, they gave it a release date of October 2nd, 2020. So you're saying it is cross-play. Now, did I miss it? Was it cross-play with Xbox and everything, or was it just cross-play with PSVR?
I don't think they mentioned the I think they said all platforms when they said it. Okay. So I would imagine that would count with the VR.
So this thing is showing. This is their pilot-based game, right? And again, it took forever I remember just sitting there. I'm like, just show me the goddamn game. It took forever to actually see it, and we finally did get to see it. They did do a pretty good job at explaining. They have a main story campaign where you get to pick a pilot from either side, whether it be the newly found rebels or the Empire. So that looked pretty cool. You get to play that, and then it gets into the multiplayer. They showed off these 8 different ships and some game modes like the dogfight, which is 5v5. It looked interesting. I don't know how long it would hold my attention. I mean,
I think it's one of those conversations where, and maybe I could be wrong too, but to me it doesn't seem like this game could, depending on, unless it's got a lot of modes or something, would equate to $60, which is what I feel like this game is. But yeah, I don't see it really like lasting that long, because even when I was doing Battlefront 2, you can do like sky fights and stuff like that, not first person like this where you're doing all kinds of, it's not as in depth or as good as this, but even that was like the least interesting part for me. So I don't know, for all I know there may be a huge crowd out there that's super into stuff like this, because I mean it looked good. I did like that they said there's all kinds of different stuff you can do to your character for who your pilot is. There's different skins for your ship. You can even take the different foundations of a ship. So there's the gunner, there's like the bomber, the speedier one,
whatever. All the components and stuff.
But there's like, they said there's at least like 50 or more components, so that way you can mix and match and do all kinds of stuff to diversify your ship. So I mean, it's kind of it's a cool concept, but maybe just one I'm not interested in.
Yeah, and again, what audience is that eating, right? There's only so many flying games. So if that is a game you're looking to do and get into a pilot ship and go, I mean, it's if it maybe does have that whole audience base. Maybe when this comes out, everyone wants to play a pilot game. This is the game they're going to clamor to, and what cooler than Star Wars? But watching it, I was like, I don't know how many times I can get into a dogfight if there's only because I think they only shut off 3 modes.
Yeah, and I wouldn't imagine that there's that many modes, because it's not like you can really do like capture the flag or something with it. So to me, this kind of seems like maybe it'd be like a $30, $40 game.
Yeah,
not a $60. But again, that's just my opinion. You know, there may be,
this is just how we feel.
Yeah, there may be a lot more to this game that we don't know about from what they've shown. It doesn't seem like there's really so much more that you can really show off for a game like that. So.
Yeah, especially if this was supposed to be the crowning jewel of what they showed off. It was lackluster to me.
The crowning jewel of the most boring event.
Yeah, was the game that was a Star Wars game I don't want, because I love Star Wars games. I don't need a pilot game. I mean, I'll go back to N64 and play.
And then next,
some games.
Their ending, I don't even think their ending was good, because they're like, okay, well now we're going to show you the future.
You're going to skip over the quick EA Lamar Jackson thing that showed nothing.
I don't care.
They did a quick thing. They're like, "Oh, let's look over sports games." It was nothing. It was just a quick trailer of football and football.
Yeah.
So that was a joke too.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, I had to write that down. I'm like, dude, that was nothing.
But then they're like, okay, well, we're going to show you some of our future games and stuff like that we're working on. And I'm like, okay, cool. This is where they're going to show, like, maybe Battlefield 6, just a tidbit, whatever. But no, it's just like engine of them like working on shit. Like
they have creating new engines.
They have like a guy standing there like blinking his eyes and doing whatever, and they're like dice, and so clearly it's supposed to be something from Battlefield, but there's no gunplay, there's no gameplay. They even showed off like another like weird mountain range and like some like lava thing like flowing in it and something like that. That was like, okay, well, like you could have shown me like 30 seconds of gameplay like from this studio or something. Like give me a tidbit so I can see, okay, that looks interesting, I'm more excited than that. And then I think what was even the worst, because it's the easiest fucking thing, is they ended with what somehow got me the most hyped.
Yeah, you was.
Is Skate 4, because I love Skate and I'm dying for Skate. The one thing that all you could have done, it's skateboarding. You could have shown some new shit.
Kickflip.
Yeah, it's not like you got to create some new fucking planet or anything. It's Earth and skateboarding. It's a defined sport that you couldn't even show me anything like that. You just had 2 guys that are like, yeah, hey, we did it. We're working on it, man. All right, cool, brother. I'm like, all right, thanks. Cha. All right.
All right. So, again, guys, we don't want to bag on it too far, but I've got to say, out of everything we've seen this year, this was worse. Well, I don't know how you felt. You might have liked that. This is worse than the Microsoft event for me. This didn't give me anything.
At the end of my notes, I put bad in big letters.
It gave me 3 pieces of news that would have been just as exciting if I would have read it on Twitter. Apex is coming. Check out this new Rocket Arena game. Oh, here's the trailer for Star Wars Squadron. Like, nothing in this besides Greg Miller's enthusiasm was exciting.
Right.
So, sorry if anyone that's ever gonna.
If you loved it or were a part of it, yeah, I don't mean to offend you, but
get it together, because there's like we said last episode, the bar's been set. You got to at least get as close to that as you can, because to me, that was a complete waste of 45 to 50 minutes of just sitting there waiting for it to be over. So.
I could have put together a better presentation.
Yeah, you want me to play all your dog shit games on the EA Pass? I'll play them, and then we'll make one. So anyway, guys, again, we're jesting. Let us know what you think. Again, it is 45 minutes. If you got the constitution to watch it, leave the comments down below. Let us know what you thought. But we're mainly here to talk about the biggest anticipated game. Last of Us 2 finally came out. Now, this is a game that Andrew and I have been playing side by side together. We are taking, he plays an hour, I play an hour, he plays an hour, I play an hour. We're roughly about, I would say, 8 to 9 hours in on a game that if you're 100%ing it, takes about 25. So probably maybe closer to 20 on average. So I'd say we're almost halfway done with this game. And I've got to say, because we're not going to do spoilers. If somebody lets something slip, I will probably be for the first time ever, edit this video just so you guys don't hear anything. But I do not get where the hate's coming from. Like, I was reading an article I sent to Andrew. It's like getting bombed on Metacritic scores. I mean, I understand that there may be themes or maybe certain story aspects that rub people the wrong way, or maybe that wasn't what you expected, or that's not what you wanted. But you can't take away what this game's offering in terms of gameplay, in terms of twists, in terms of just what I feel is a powerful story moving forward. Andrew, how do you feel?
I think it's been really good too, and I mean, it's no secret that Ellie is lesbian, queer, however you want to, whatever the correct vernacular.
Right, that's in the DLC.
Yeah,
of the first game. So.
Yeah, it's in the DLC from the first game. It's already been established that she
if you
is
haven't played
character.
the first game since PS3, then that's on you.
And I don't feel like this sequel is shoving it down your throat either. It's just a little bit more forefront. It's obviously her, because she's older now. In the first game, she's a child. In this one, she's like 18, 19. So she's actually interested in people, interested in relationships. But it's not like that's what the whole game is really about. It's just her in this world. And it's not like anyone else is really going like, oh, it's all about her and her like sex or whatever. I think there's one person in the game who says like, they called her like, you know, some sort of bigoted term or whatever, and he's trying to like apologize or whatever, but they said it's out of like drunkenness. But that's the only time I could ever infer that it's ever like, okay,
and it's over so quick.
That there's something related to her not being a straight character.
I would assume it's to establish that if you didn't play the first one, this is who this person is.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It's just a character.
I don't even feel like that's been the big defining part of who she is in this game. Like, I think it's more like her rage and her anger, like her lust for revenge.
And thusly so. So, outside of getting more into that, because I think that is what may or may not be turning people off, let's just get into the overall gameplay. The gameplay, if you like number one, if you like the mechanics, if you like the building, if you like the collecting, this game offers all that at a 10 compared to what the last game
I think it's way better
was
than
a 10. So, I mean, this game is moving along very comfortably. It's fun watching someone play, and it's fun playing it because, like I said, the story is just fun to watch. There's a lot of side dialogue between characters, and I won't say names, of just, it's kind of funny quips that they do with each other. It's funny banter. I think what we had the biggest issue with, and you pointed out first, was some of the AI.
Yeah, so sometimes if you have somebody who's like with you, like let's say I go into a room where there's only one way in, one way out, and they're standing in the doorway for whatever reason, like I cannot get around them. And it's not someone I have to fight. It could be like a companion or something like that. Like there's no way to get around them. I literally have to wait for them to move because I cannot budge them. Or there was like one point too where I was supposed to get off the horse and go in between like this thin wall. So I get off the horse is in the fucking way and I can't squeeze around him. I can't push him out of the way. So I go to get back on the horse and she got stuck in like a backwards walking motion for like 20 seconds. I thought I was going to have to turn off the game and restart. But then eventually the horse kind of swiveled a little bit and she got on and then I backed up the horse and got through. So that's really been the only issue that I've had with this game. Is just sometimes your AI, whoever it may be, does get in the way, and it's never detrimental during a fight, so it's mostly just when I'm exploring. So it's more of like a small gripe. Like I wouldn't knock like, oh, this game's a 5 because of it or anything.
Yeah,
I can already tell, I mean, based from me playing this now, unless it takes a sudden shift in quality and the story wise, this game's at least an 8 up for me. I gotta finish the game to kind of really see where it is. But I think that's kind of where we both landed earlier, is for us that this game so far is no less than an 8. We need to finish the journey to kind of really gauge where it's going to go. That I do think, a lot of these people are review bombing it, maybe just because she's a little bit older and she's a lesbian character. Like, I don't know, and I don't get it, to where I don't understand why anyone else would be upset by it.
Or I'm with it completely, man. I would say another gripe, because let's talk a little bit of gripe and then we'll talk a lot of glory, is for how gorgeous every individual character looks in this game.
Right? Oh yeah, you pointed that out.
For how
to me,
much? I mean, when you look at Ellie, and she looks fantastic in this game, and they do the close-ups, and you see all these other guys that have, every distinct individual in this game has this defined look. it kind of falls on the fact that every other generic enemy that you maybe run into, whether obviously infected aside, because they obviously kind of have one look. A lot of the human enemies you run into look the same. I ran into 4 enemies in a row, and they were all pretty much the same archetype character, and I was just like, well, I wish they would have done at least a little more in variety in terms of what the average enemy looks like. And who knows, maybe we'll run into more people and that's gonna be more, but for being what I think might be close to halfway through the game, we ran into maybe about 5 different looking characters. Maybe 5.
And this is for the WLF, which again they've shown that before, the Washington Liberation Front. Yeah, we haven't ran into like the scars yet, so I doubt those people are the same, especially with how they describe them and what they've shown and what they've done so far in the game. But yeah, I noticed that too, especially after you pointed out. I was like, man, how many times am I gonna slit this Mexican guy's throat?
Yeah, but this guy's taking a beating. I thought I already killed him. So yeah, it is the same looking face. It is, which again, how many games do we know have done that? I just thought maybe this game would have been the one that gave a little more different variation in terms of what I'm seeing.
You're probably just killing. He's probably got 8 twin brothers.
Back out. Yeah. But let's get into what's actually good about it. I like that when you run into these certain aspects of the game that require you to solve puzzles to move forward in the game, it gives you a lot of exploration. Now, whether that exploration be something I need to go do to get past A to B, or just go find things, go find gear, go find collectible trading cards, go find magazines that help you boost things, go find pills that help you increase your stats. I mean, there's so much that you can do and so much that you don't have to do, that it's kind of mimicking like an open world, even though it's not, because it's contained. But we're having a lot. I mean, half the time our hour is spent. Oh, what are you looking at? What are you exploring? Did you already go to this place? Did you already grab the gun? Did you how many workbenches did you find? I mean, half the game of us is just fun watching because it's like, oh, what's over there?
Actually, now that you bring that up, that would be one other tiny gripe that I have, that I've had it a few times. Where when I'm in a smaller area or something, like after you've cleared out the enemies and you got to find like a special way out, like I have run past something, I'm looking everywhere, and it's like fucking like 3 minutes later, whoever it is that's with me will be like, oh hey, we can get up through here. And it's like, okay, I ran past that spot 4 fucking times. You didn't say anything. You're over here wandering, doing all this other shit. Like, why did I have to wait for you to get from there to... You should automatically be scripted to go from A to B, and maybe I'll go Luke over there or something. But it's like, I've gone past a spot with you next to me at least 3 to 4 different times trying to find a way out of this goddamn room.
Right. Which is actually... pretty fun. And again, guys, there is different modes to play. So if you guys, there is an extremely hard mode. There is an extremely easy mode. There's also, what were we talking earlier, how they're doing a very adaptive mode with this.
There's a lot of accessibility options.
They're very comfortable with that.
I've seen a lot of people say online, too, that this might be like one of the most successful games. Like, you can put it on the easiest difficulty.
If you got a handicap or something wrong, it lets it so that you can play it, and it's not too griping on you.
Right, yeah. You can, once you turn some of those things on, so you can put on the easiest difficulty, which, of course, I'm sure makes... No one can see you really as well, whatever. But then there's more options you can go and turn on. You can go and turn on, like, when you do your R1 senses, you can spread out the diameter really big, and then it also shows you, like, the items that are around you and stuff like that, so you can pick them up. You can turn on auto-aim. I think there's even an option in there for when you go prone, the enemy just won't see you in general. So for anyone who's got any sort of, difficulty playing games or something like that, this might be something that's, okay, you can now really just enjoy this narrative and get through at your own pace because there's so many ways to accommodate you. So I thought that was a really cool thing.
Yeah, so far, guys, The Last of Us 2, Part 2, for us, has been nothing short of being an 8, being maybe halfway through this game. And again, there's twists, there's storylines that just move this thing forward in a way that number 1 did, but they're pushing it.
I like the way you described it, like when we were playing, there's like a moment in there that is like very early on, like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, there's some shit that happens where you're like, man, that's straight out of Game of Thrones Season 1. Like, you're just like, there's just things that happen. So, like, you gotta play this game to experience it, and don't let anybody's bad review or negative emotion or some sort of blinded bigotry stop you from playing that's arguably going to be one of the best games of the year, because we so far are having a blast, and I'm counting on the time when we're done with this, because right after this we're going to keep playing. So by the time you watch our next episode, we're going to have this thing beat, and we'll probably talk a little more about it.
I can understand if you want to give this game like a 6, a 7, whatever, but there's no way this game's a 1
There's
out of 10
no way it's
for
getting
anybody.
the 5 review, the 3 review that it's getting.
Yeah.
It's just, there's nothing there that makes it a 5 or a 3.
Yeah, those numbers out there are a joke. And I mean, clearly, it hasn't hurt the sales of this game because it's doing really well. It's reviewing really well for real sites.
Real sites getting 10s,
yeah,
9s.
So,
I mean,
either way, they're killing it, and I can see why now.
just like Ellie's killing it, the game's killing it. So check that out, guys. So, guys, this comes to the end of episode.
We have to end after that terrible joke.
Yeah, goddamn. After 49. So, guys, we've been talking to you since episode 44. We have the contest going on. We usually do multiple contests throughout our show. If you've known and you've been watching us, we like to give stuff away. So, what we are doing is now, from episode 44 to 49, if you guys enter and like, comment, subscribe, and put hashtag Quarantine Gamer, Andrew and I are going to be giving 2 of you a game of your choice on episode 50. So next week, we're going to announce 2 winners. That's going to be a game of your choice under $60 that comes out this year or prior that is not hard to find. And we had someone email us that asked us if it could be a Nintendo 3DS game. Yes, it can be. It can be an Xbox game. It can be a PC game. Whatever you want, as long as it's under the 60, not hard to find, and it comes out this year or prior.
We'll take taxes. So $59.99 and it comes out to $63.
You pay shipping.
Whatever. So we'll do that. Again, you do have to be subscribed. We're not going to tell you to subscribe. If you win, we've had people win before. That I actually think it was even during the PS4 giveaway. Mm-hmm. Someone would have won. They weren't subscribed to us. Not going to write them. Not going to say a word to you. Just throw it away and move on to the next person.
Yeah.
So make sure
we got
you are
goals
subscribed.
too. We're trying to do something with this, right? We're not giving shit away, because we like to.
Yeah, help us get that thou.
Yeah,
we're almost there.
So again, guys, and we've been seeing a lot of you fans, guys. So I appreciate it. I mean, like I say, tell your mother, tell your father, tell your brother, tell your lover, tell your children, sign up and enter, because we're not a big channel. We have such a small comment base that if you get in there and enter, you have a really good chance of winning. And remember, do it in every episode, 44 to 49, because we pull one from every episode, put them all in a hat, and we're going to pull 2 winners from one of those episodes. So you got really good chances to do it, guys. So do not miss out, and don't write in one episode and not in the other one, because all you're doing is
cheating yourself.
You're shooting yourself in the foot on a waste of time, because if you don't get in that one, then there was no point to enter to begin with. So Andrew, that was a beefy episode, and I think we did it in a pretty good amount of time. Anything else you want to add on anything else we said?
No, but I do want to thank everybody. We're almost at 50. I never thought we'd go past like 20 when we
we're
started.
Getting to 50, guys. So make sure you watch us on the next episode, because we'll be giving it away. We'll be talking about the new Pokemon Direct. We'll be talking more about us beating The Last of Us Part 2.
And maybe that CyberPunk thing too, because that's next week, isn't it, as well?
I hope so. Oh yeah, the 25th will be. I don't know. Let's double check. 25th will happen on the day we record. So yeah, we will check that out and see what news that is. So guys, until next time. My name is Craig Perales, and that is the majestic Mandrew Montemayor. Cheers. That off too? Which one's older?
Goku?
No, I mean, not the show. Not Goku versus the guy.
Yeah, no, Dragon Ball Z.
Interesting. Very interesting.
I was trying to explain to someone at work too the other day, because they said they hadn't seen John Wick, and I was like, I think the best comparison would be like a non-space Cowboy Bebop.
A non-space Cowboy Bebop.
As far as how the action scenes go.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. That's a polite way to put it.
Like,
if you're trying to do, are they an anime guy? Is that why you're using that reference?
Yeah, he watched anime. I was like, well, have you seen Cowboy Bebop? So I was like, okay, well, picture like the fighting and the gunplay. I mean, it's not like a bounty hunter or anything like that, and it's not in space, but a lot of his like, the shit that he does and stuff like that, though, mixed with the gunplay, I think is like very Cowboy Bebop.
Who would you rather have come save you, John Wick or Jason Bourne?
Probably say Jason Bourne's a little bit more successful, has a higher success rate.
Does he?
John Wick's just got a higher revengeance rate.
Fuck. Who is the bigger kill tally, though? Well, yeah, I guess he has 3 movies. Yeah, trilogy versus trilogy.
I think John Wick would kill Jason Bourne. Oh, you know what? Jason Bourne, I don't know why I was thinking of Jason Statham, but as the transporter. Yeah.